Hey everyone! If you love growing eggplants but hate seeing them get sick, you are in the right place. Today, we're going to dig in and figure out how to keep your eggplants healthy, happy, and super productive all the way through harvest. You know the feeling, right? One day, your eggplant patch is looking fantastic, and the next, something is just off. You're standing there wondering, what on earth is going on? Well, today, we're going to find out exactly what's going on. And this is really the tale of two plants. On the left, that's the dream, a strong, vibrant, healthy plant. But on the right, well, that's the nightmare, a plant that's completely given up, totally wilted. Understanding what causes that change is our mission today.
All right, time to put on our detective hats, because before you can fix the problem, you have to know who or what you're up against. We're about to meet the 4 most wanted invaders that cause chaos for our eggplants.
First up on our list is Phomopsis blight. This is a fungal disease, and let me tell you, it is not a picky eater. It'll attack the leaves, the stems, and worst of all, the fruit itself. And just look at this. This is the classic calling card of Phomopsis on the fruit. You see those sunken, brownish spots? That's not just a surface blemish. That's a sign of a deep rot that basically makes the fruit a total loss. So, to be sure, you're looking for a trail of evidence. It often starts small, with little grayish spots on the leaves. Then you might notice these dark, stretched-out sores on the stems. But the real giveaway, the smoking gun, is that awful soft rot on the fruit. Okay, let's move on to suspect number 2, bacterial wilt. Now this one is especially nasty. It's a bacterial infection that wages war from the inside, clogging up the plant's entire plumbing system. And this shows you the whole story. On the outside, you see the plant just suddenly wilt, almost overnight. But if you cut open the stem, that's the real proof. That brown gunk inside the stem's tissue, that's the bacteria at work. So the key thing here is how fast it happens. But why? Well, the bacteria are basically multiplying like crazy inside the plant's veins, blocking the flow of water. So the plant is literally dying of thirst, even if the soil is wet. Our third culprit is Sclerotinia blight, which you might know as white mold. This is another fungal foe, but the good news is it leaves behind some pretty obvious clues, so it's not too hard to identify. The main things to look for are this fluffy, white, cottony-looking mold, usually right down by the soil line on the stem. And as it gets worse, you'll see these little hard black things that look kind of like seeds. Those are called sclerotia, and they're basically the fungus's survival pods that can hide in the soil for years. And last but not least, suspect number 4 is little leaf disease. Now this one's a bit of an oddball. It's not a fungus or a bacterium. It's caused by something called a phytoplasma. And it gets around because it's carried by a tiny insect called a leafhopper. The name pretty much tells you everything you need to know. Just look at this plant. The leaves are tiny, kind of yellowish, and the whole plant just gets this weird, stunted, bushy look. And when a plant looks like this, forget about getting any fruit. Okay, we've identified the bad guys. Now for the fun part. Let's talk about how to fight back. We're going to build our defense plan, starting with the absolute basics for a healthy garden. Think of this as garden first aid. These are the non-negotiable, immediate actions. First, always start with clean, certified seed. It makes a huge difference. Second, if you see a sick plant, you have to be ruthless. Get it out of there immediately and destroy it so it can't spread. And finally, after the season's over, clean up. Don't leave old, diseased plants in the garden to cause trouble next year. Now let's talk about playing the long game. These are the habits that create a garden where diseases just don't feel welcome. Number 1, rotate your crops. Don't plant eggplants or their relatives like tomatoes in the same spot over and over. Also, give your plants some personal space for good air circulation. Make sure your soil drains well, and if you have heavy soil, raised beds can be a total game changer. Okay, so we've set up a good environment, but what if we could actually recruit some microscopic allies to join our side? Well, we can, and that brings us to the really cool world of biological control. So, what in the world is a bioagent? It's pretty simple, actually. It's a good microbe, like a beneficial fungus or bacterium that we can use to fight the bad ones. Think of it like hiring microscopic bodyguards for your plant's roots. And here are some of the superstars. You've got trichoderma, which is a fantastic beneficial fungus for dealing with phomopsis and sclerotinia. Then, for that really tough bacterial wilt, good bacteria like Pseudomonas fluorescens and Bacillus species can be a huge help when you apply them to the soil. So here's the key takeaway. None of these strategies is a silver bullet by itself. The real magic happens when you put it all together: the physical controls, the cultural habits, and the biological allies. That's what an integrated plan is all about. And this table right here, this is your cheat sheet. It's a fantastic, quick reference that breaks everything down for each disease: what causes it, what it looks like, how it spreads, and the #1 way to manage it. It's perfect for keeping all this info straight. At the end of the day, this isn't about running around putting out fires. It's about building a fireproof garden from the start. We're creating a blueprint for a garden that is naturally strong and resilient, ready for whatever nature throws at it. And that quote really nails it. The best defense is a good offense. It's all about being proactive. When you combine good cleanup, smart garden habits, and the power of these biological allies, you're not just preventing disease, you're building a healthier, more productive garden, period. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After hearing all this, what's the one thing, the very first step, you're going to take this season to make your garden just a little bit more resilient?